Hello and welcome to our King of Scars Book Explosion live show. My name's Christine.
My name's Jesse.
And my name's Kat.
And we're Book Explosion. So today we will be taking your questions to discuss King of Scars by Lee Bardugo. You can using the hashtag Scarsplosion. And you can tweet them to us on Twitter. That is like the most visible place where we have the best chance of seeing them. But we'll also be checking the chat, which is easier to follow nowadays, but still goes fast. So, you make the judgment yourself. So we won't start off with spoilers. We'll kick it off with our non-spoiler thoughts. And then after that, we'll let you know we're going into a spoiler section. It's hard to not spoil since this is a spin-off series off of another series.
And we'll probably be talking about stuff that happens in the Grisha trilogy and the Six of Crows duology, I assume. You guys think?
Yeah,
we shouldn't talk about this book without talking about, and this book spoils those other series.
Yeah.
For sure.
Full of all the spoilers, yeah.
Yeah. Really quickly before we go into this, let's just announce our lineup maybe for the rest of the fall and summer. So August we're reading Looking for Alaska by John Green.
And oldie.
Who's gonna say September?
September we're reading Frankly in Love by David Yoon. Right?
And October. What month is it? I wish it was October right now.
No.
October, we're reading, is it The Fountains of Silence?
Yeah, The Fountains of Silence.
Okay, there's The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys.
Yeah.
That's the lineup so far.
We will be announcing November and December soon, as soon as we lock those down.
Yes. So, okay, kick us off with your non-spoilery thoughts, Kat.
Oh, to me, okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this, but not as much as I feel like I could have if I read it when I was more in the mood to read it. I feel like I probably would have DNF'd this, not permanently, but DNF'd it for now, if we weren't reading it for the live show. Because I wanted to read the Grisha trilogy, reread that, and have it more fresh in my head before jumping into this one. And I feel like I would have gotten more out of it if I was more in the foreground of my mind were the events of the original Grisha trilogy. And also I don't know, I was kind of expecting, this wasn't what I expected, not necessarily in a bad way, but it didn't feel like a Grisha book, kind of. I don't know. It didn't feel like Lee Bardugo, kind of.
Yeah.
It was good, but it just felt so different from her other stuff.
Right. I agree with that. I feel like the biggest thing for me was expectations as well. You go into this book thinking you're going to get something and then you don't really get it. For me, I was sold on the idea that this is going to be Nikolai's book, but it's not Nikolai's book necessarily. I feel like he kind of almost was sitting in the backseat for most of the book, it felt like. And I also felt like we didn't really get any real resolution at the end of this book. And I
don't know where we're going. What is going to happen in the next book? How this is only a duology. It just felt like this was building in a weird way. And the two storylines that we were following, Nina and then also Nikolai, I was really expecting those to intersect more and to matter against each other. Even if it was the same villain or, the same effect of the drug, Parem was affecting both of them.
Right.
The storylines just had no impact on one another.
Not at all. Nina's felt so random. I was like, where is this going? Are they going to come together? They didn't. It's
and I loved Nina, but her storyline in this, I was just it was fine.
Yeah.
If this were the first book in a longer series, an open-ended series, I would have been more okay with it. But framed as the first half of this duology, I'm just what is this duology?
I agree.
Wow.
What are your thoughts, Christine?
I liked it better than you guys did. I thought, like you guys, I was expecting the stories to intertwine. That's what I was waiting for, and that's what I was kind of disappointed about. I liked Nikolai's story. I wish I read this right after I read the Grisha trilogy, because there's a lot that I had, like, there was like inklings of remembrance when I heard the names, but I was like, I don't really remember what you did specifically and this and this. The character that really stood out for me in this book was Zoya. This was like Zoya's book, and I've really grown to love her. And instead of shipping, like, you go into this book thinking you're gonna ship like Nina and Nikolai, at least I did. I was like, they're a perfect match. Why aren't they together? And I was so excited for that possibility. But of course, Nina is mourning a loss right now, so she's not ready for that. And she doesn't even see him. There's nothing there. It feels like Lee's definitely setting up for Zoya and Nikolai to eventually be together. And yeah, I mean, I felt like there was a little bit of, like, I felt like this felt like the first half of a duology to me. I just didn't like some of the stuff in it. I felt like we could have had more of the other stuff. I wish I there's like these saints in here that I feel like maybe we would have known about more if we had just read the Grisha trilogy. Like, they felt like,
I don't know if it's necessarily the Grisha trilogy. I think that those saints are in the Tales book. You know, the book of like the fairy tales that the Grisha children grow up with. I think that's where their stories are.
Yeah, you don't feel the impact of them really, because you feel like you don't know them.
I think that part was just done too fast. Like, instead of at the halfway point, we like broke into that seat and we met the saints. I feel like that should have been like the first act break into two, because we weren't with them for long enough. Like, I agree that this was Zoya's book and I loved her journey, but like her training was so short, and like I want to know more of like what's going on with her. Like, now she has like this dragon Grisha power that's like,
hold on, Kat, hold on. We're in spoilers now.
I thought we already were.
I kind of forgot to.
We already stopped and we're like, okay, now we're doing spoilers.
I thought we were saying that there's no way to talk about this without spoilers.
But we were gonna do like a short non-spoiler.
Okay. Whatever.
I'm so sorry, guys. We're into spoilers now. That's not a huge spoiler because it's like out of context and you have no idea what's going on if you haven't read it. But we're going to talk about spoilers now. So. Okay, go ahead. You can keep going.
That was all I wanted to say. Is I just wish we had more of that.
Uh-huh.
Like more training and more. I don't know. Just. I don't really understand any of it.
That whole scene was like very confusing. Like, I wanted to know how that works. Is like, are they in an alternate, like, parallel universe, or like, are they in a pocket or something?
Yeah.
I got the impression that there were only two people there, like two saints, and then all of a sudden there were three saints, and I was just very confused. And I don't know if it's because I was listening to the audiobook, like maybe I just wasn't concentrating hard enough, but like. When she was talking, there's that bear guy who like turns into different things all the time. And then there's a guy who trains her who's a dragon. And I only thought it was a dragon. I thought bear and dragon guy was the same guy. And then all of a sudden it was like they were talking to two separate people. And I was so confused. And that's when like I messaged you guys and I was like, I'm really confused right now. Like, are there two people there or three people there?
The bear saint, what's his name? Gregory? I think that's his name. He was really underutilized.
Yeah.
You know what happened with him? We barely saw him. There was that one scene where he met Nikolai and he was talking to him. He's like, I don't really feel comfortable like being out and about, but if you ever want to talk, come see me. And then like Nikolai never went to see him and talk to him. Like,
yeah. I feel like in terms of this being Nikolai's book, it wasn't really. Nikolai is just like causing the conflict, but you said like there's no connection with like the Parem, but I think there is a connection, and maybe she just hasn't connected it yet, because I think we kind of start to hear about it at the end with like the fact that he's still playing around with Parem, even though like he's not doing it like to drug people. He's like testing it to try to make an antidote and to try to use it safely. Like Parem in general is like causing the darkness to still stay around. Like that's why they couldn't diminish him completely, because it's made from the same stuff, like the same bad juju that he brought into the world. I forget all the words because it's been so long since I read Grisha, so like they just kind of like didn't settle in as much. But and then we have them testing the same sort of thing, like on pregnant women. It's another sort of parem mixture. And I think that's going to be the connecting thing here, because everyone's playing with this stuff that the Darklings started playing with. He can't be completely eradicated off of Earth. He just comes back at the end. I was also confused at the end. I was like, how did this happen? Like, how? What? Ew. The Darkling's just back.
I didn't like that. I wanted him gone. We've already had that. We got rid of the Darkling. We don't need him back.
I agree with that, especially because like the Darkling and Alina's story are so tied together that like if the Darkling is back, then you have to bring Alina back, and then this is just the Grisha trilogy again. Like we already did this.
Well, I'm confused also. Like we learned how Nikolai has to get rid of his darkness, and like why didn't it work? I'm just like, what did we do wrong there? He did the thorn. They took it out of him first. I don't understand what happened to make it go wrong, because he still conquered it. And he still did what they said. Was it all a lie? Because she was betraying them?
I mean, I think it might have been all a lie, or it was never gonna get rid of it completely. But yeah, it felt kind of like, okay, he's like defeated the beast inside for now, and he like smothered it down. But even at the end, he's like, well, there's still a little bit of it in there, so like we'll come back. So it's like, so we didn't solve anything.
I what I also really liked in this, but I loved Hannah, and I loved the relationship between her and, oh my God, Nina.
Yeah.
And I love to see them on an adventure together, and it seems that's where we're going with them. I really love that storyline with like the pregnant lady. I thought that was so interesting and really gross.
It's very Throne of Glass series to me.
But even in the Throne of Glass series, when they were doing that, we didn't like get involved as much.
It was just kind of a vague feeling of like Queen of Shadows reminiscent, because we also had like two very separate storylines that like were going on at the same time, which I feel like is different for a Leigh Bardugo book, because like even in Six of Crows we have 6 protagonists, but they're all centered around the same thing. And then like Grisha trilogy was told from first person, so like it's all Alina. Whereas like this was like a different split than I'm used to with Leigh's books.
Definitely felt like Leigh to me. I just didn't feel as connected. It was just like it wasn't Six of Crows where like everything's working towards a common goal. She's telling 2 separate stories that will eventually intersect, I think, but not right now, which is like weird because usually by the end of the book you see them start to come together. Are there questions?
I forgot. Did you guys make the connection of Jesper's mom being the healer for Leonie and the poison or whatever?
Nope.
I can't remember what it is exactly, but like, in Crooked Kingdom, we like discovered that Jesper's mom like took out this girl's poison and like took all of it or whatever. And that's Leonie I think it's Leonie that she did it with.
Oh. I didn't remember Leonie at all from anything before, or Adric. And I was just like, I don't remember anyone losing their arm. Like, I don't remember any of this.
Well, Jesse, you've also read Crooked Kingdom, twice this year already, so it's fresher in your head. You're going to notice those little details.
True.
I felt like I was just like out of the loop in terms of this world, because I haven't read these for like 2 years.
I haven't read these in like 5 years. I was very out of the loop.
It was just like, oh yeah, Grisha live longer. Like, is that a thing? You kept saying like you'll live on, and like, will she? Like, let's see, Scarsplosion. So you can send in your questions in the chat here using the hashtag Scarsplosion, or on Twitter with the hashtag Scarsplosion. Hit us with anything we should discuss. What were
we have a comment from Alana Sama, and they said Hannah's story was interesting. Did not see Jarl Brum being her dad coming at all. Did you guys see that at all?
Okay. I kind of forgot who this guy was. I just like remembered the name. And I was like, and he was a bad guy. I don't remember what he did.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I was pleasantly surprised by that we were like tying in another big character and stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, and it gave you some more conflict because Hannah's going to become part of the crew, so it'll be like really interesting. I enjoyed Nina's interactions with him, how she's like learned how to manipulate him correctly, and he like trusts her now, which is fun. It's going to be fun to play with that.
Yeah. I did really like the politics. Like, I wish we got a little bit more because I do feel like I wasn't following everything as well as I could have. But I like what's being laid out of like what Nikolai has to find a wife and get married to like kind of keep some peace and like make Ravka a little more stable. And we get to see like all these little pieces of like the politics that are happening.
Yeah, that's one of the parts that I felt out of the loop for because I didn't remember all the countries' names as much. I had such a good grip on this after Crooked Kingdom and the Grisha trilogy. I was like, well, I know this world. And I just felt so annoyed with my brain for not remembering, like, where was, like, Ravka as compared to, like, Kirch and the Shoe. And,
there's a map in the book, Christine.
Sorry, I didn't look at it. I forgot, and I was listening to audio.
For sure. We have a question in the comments.
Wait, one thing that I don't get that maybe you guys can help clarify for me, or maybe we don't really have a good answer. Okay, so we'll talk about Isaac in a minute too, but the whole storyline of like Isaac and the princess from what's the country called? The Shu princess?
Shuhan.
Shuhan. Okay. So if they tried to assassinate Nikolai, why would he marry her? And to like, I don't get why he's gonna marry the princess now.
He straight up says, doesn't he, that now their countries have to like not be at war?
Yeah, but she just killed Isaac thinking it was him. Like,
yeah, but it wasn't her, it was an assassin they hired.
Yeah, it was assassin hired by the princess. The princess was in on it. The Shoe was in on it.
Yeah, but if there's a whole, he was like kind of blackmailing her into it. Like he was going to execute her if she doesn't agree to be the princess because politically it'll be good for them. And he's going to get all the money that comes with her dowry and that he'll put that back into the government. I don't know. I'm still not thinking it's a good idea to marry the person who just I think you're probably basically going to be held hostage, and it's not going to. It's kind of like a keep your enemies close sort of a thing. Yeah, but it's just like you're not fooling any. Like the Shuhan know that they tried to kill Nikolai, and that this isn't a real. The whole country doesn't know, though. Yeah, it's more of like a all of the people thing, not like the. I don't think like the actual government will believe anything.
Christine, you have stuff on your teeth.
I know. I like just saw in the thing, and I'm like, I definitely like those teeth.
Sorry. We have a question in the comments from Kate Patter. They say the pacing was very different from other Grisha books. What did you think of this story structure?
Well, we kind of touched on this, like, I don't know. Like, I didn't think it was that different to me, but I did the audiobook for Grisha, and it felt like Grisha. It did not feel like Six of Crows. It felt like Grisha to me.
I don't feel like the pacing was off necessarily, but like plot-wise, it just didn't feel on par with the other books, in my opinion.
Well, I do think the pacing was a little off.
Spectrum.
From what I said earlier, like the thing that happened at the middle, I feel like that should have happened like 50 pages earlier. Like I feel like the first half was a little bit too meandering, and then like in the second half, everything was happening.
My favorite part of this was the part where we learned about Liliana and Zoya's past. I feel like this should just be a book about Zoya.
I know.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel like we didn't see the monster anymore after like those first 2 times. Like we didn't have to deal with Nikolai along the way, like sleeping and turning to a monster ever. Which kind of, since it was getting stronger, I would have liked to see more struggle there, I guess, even with the night drafts and stuff, because that kind of died real quick for me. And then they're like, oh yeah, all this about the monster. But I was like, the monster's not here though. I don't know.
It was like built up as a big problem, but then the solution was like really easy.
But then it didn't go away. It was like, this is how we get rid of it. It didn't work. And it was just like, what's happening? I just have a question. Yeah, what did you think of Isaac? Emily asked. I found his chapters a lot more fun to read, she said.
I'm conflicted about Isaac.
Like Isaac, I was so bored of him. I don't know.
It was that's it.
See, I liked this. I liked seeing what was happening still at the castle because, like, it would have been more fun if we had actual Nikolai doing that. Like, I wanted to see actual Nikolai.
But like, I did not sign up for this book to read about a fake Nikolai. I need the real Nikolai. Like, where's Nikolai?
Yeah. I felt bad for him when Nikolai was watching and he was like, oh shit, she has a knife. I was like, oh no, poor Isaac. He's just like, I don't want to be here. And like, I love this girl.
And then he like fell in love with her.
He was just like an innocent little goldfish.
Did you guys suspect that the princess and the member of her guard were switched?
I didn't even care. I was like, oh yeah.
I picked up on that when they were doing the fight scene. When the twin Tamar was like trying to get close to the other one, and so like Isaac and the princess were like fighting, but then the guard was like, I'm gonna fight one of your random members, and like thought that she was fighting the girl who was defecting. But because that guard was so like unfamiliar with a sword, and like the other guard like stood up to protect her and was like, no, don't hurt the little guard. I was like, well, that's clearly the princess that swapped out.
Yeah, I completely missed that. I don't know what was happening in my brain when that scene went down. Well,
Vanessa asks, what storyline did you prefer, Nina's or the one in Ravka?
Nina's.
Really?
I just like Nina better as a character, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I wanted to see what Nina was doing all the time. And Hannah.
Huh. I liked Nina's storyline. I kind of liked it better before she buried Matthias.
Oh, I liked it after.
Really? Because I liked her kind of back and forth with him a little bit in her head, and like, I don't know. It was after he was
so sad. And I was like, you gotta bury him. Like,
yeah. I mean, like, obviously I wanted her to like bury him and like start moving on, but I did like that beginning part a lot. I don't know. I liked the storyline with the Saints. I just felt it was too short.
Yeah. Definitely needed to be fleshed out, I feel like.
It just felt really abstract to me. It didn't feel like I could completely grasp it, like in terms of just like the world and what was going on with them. And like
a weird like parallel pocket universe where like time doesn't pass and you don't age and you don't sleep.
Yeah, I was just like, how did they get there? Like, what happened? Like, they just appeared there, and like he was like, I've been here for 400 years, but then he's like, I've been here for eons, and I'm like, which one is it? Like, how old are you? Open the door! Open the door! How many times did we open the door? Anyway. Did you think there will be a conflict between Novia Zem and the Ismarja? What's that?
The submarine, those submarine.
Oh, is that how you spell it?
How do you say it in the audiobook?
Not like that. I don't even know. I just know it as the submarine. It was like flat, like a stingray.
I don't see. I feel like Nikolai doing that. The whole like this is the air. Like this is something I thought was really interesting. The whole like creating new weapons and like warfare and like the developments in that. So like when Nikolai gave them the blueprints for like the real one, he sounded like he was a little more aware of like it's not going to matter as much anymore because like the advances that people are making in other areas are like so great that like this technology is going to be outdated soon enough, kind of. So I don't know if that's necessarily the biggest problem on Nikolai's plate right now.
Yeah. Ugh, I wish like the more people ask these questions, like the more I feel like I was reading like the third Harry Potter book before I read the first two. Like I was like I feel like half the things went over my head since I didn't just read Grisha.
Oh.
Okay. What were your thoughts on people worshiping the dark? Oh yeah, this was interesting. What did you think of Yuri? What were your opinions on Yuri's character in the Cult of the Starless Saint? I thought that was really interesting too. Your thoughts on the people worshiping the dark side? I feel like it's like something that's bound to happen because like it's just like people who like worship the devil and like find excuses to like worship things that are terrible.
I mean, not even that, but even from an outsider's perspective, like a lot of people up until the Darkling died, like they didn't think he was doing anything really wrong. Like he was even still alive, like he was a hero.
Yeah.
And I think it was inevitable too, because just the Saints are just like Grisha with like extreme power. And that is definitely the Darkling. Like he was just a Grisha who had like a more unique power that got really big.
Yeah. Agree with that.
Yeah, I like forget why people ship the Darkling with Alina. Like I forget. I don't feel like I ever did. But like
they were it was that opposites dynamic.
Yeah. I shipped Alina and Nikolai.
I did too.
Yeah. But that didn't end up happening, so
it didn't work out. Didn't you think when Nikolai like embraced his dark side and controlled the thing that he should have defeated it? Like
I feel like he should have had use of it. Like like he mastered the beast inside. Because it felt like it was leading to that anyways. Like that moment when he saved Zoya, like before they even went to the Saints.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it the whole time for him. It's not about the monster, it's about making peace with the monster.
Right.
Do you think like that is what it is now? Like he can control the monster, or is it going to be like the same thing again? You know, I feel like
it has to go in the direction of controlling the monster.
Yeah,
we did this whole book and we didn't defeat the monster for good. He's still in Nikolai, so I feel like the second book is going to be hopefully like coming to terms with that and like accepting it, because are they just going to defeat the monster for good? Is that
well, I think the thing is going to come down to maybe Nikolai has it like as a part of him now, like it's just an extension, like a power he kind of has to become this beast, but like they have to kill the beast to kill the Darkling because that's a part of it. It's like a Horcrux inside him. Like that's the thing. It was made to be out like a Horcrux that was keeping the Darkling anchored to this world, and then like we killed the Horcrux with a Basilisk Fang and it still survived. So it's like, how do you kill it? Like it's still in him. Yeah. What did we do wrong? I just don't. It just came kind of out of. I know we didn't read like the short stories, so maybe this makes sense in the short stories. But like the thorns and like how thorns are always involved in fairy tales and all that stuff, it kind of just felt like it was coming out of nowhere that this is the solution, that you have to like put a thorn through it. I don't know.
Need to read those fairy tales.
I know. It feels like those were like integral to understanding the depth of what's going on here. Yeah. Do you think it's gonna end with like Nikolai dying?
I hope not.
I thought that's how this was gonna end because everyone was like, I hated how it ended. Like, was like, oh, someone's gonna die, and maybe it's gonna be Nikolai.
Did you guys like pick up on the fact that the Darkling was going to come back like early on in the book? Because there was like a lot of heavy hints when you think about it.
Yeah.
I was spoiled for this back in January.
Oh, you were spoiled for it? Oh no!
Yeah, that's why I put off reading this book for so long. So I was like, well, I know what happens. So
I thought as soon as we learned that he had that thing, because I didn't know he had the beast in him. I like did not remember this. And then like when I read the synopsis, I was like, oh, what? And then like as soon as we learned about it, I was like, oh, I bet that's connected to him. He was like, the thing with the Darkling is he was such a big bad, and then like I just feel like he was defeated pretty, like he didn't do much. Like he was just bad, but like it wasn't like Voldemort where he had like a grand scheme that was coming to a crux in the series, you know? I don't like, what was his goal? He didn't really have one. So
his goal is like the same as what Nikolai's goal is. It's just to like rule Ravka and like have Ravka be like prosperous and like.
Yeah, and he was just bad.
Yeah.
Dark.
Yeah, I never really like connected to him on this level like I connected to like Voldemort. Like I could learn more about him. I feel like we learned like that Baba Kunashka was his mom, right? That's what we learned.
About the Darkling?
Yeah, wasn't that lady his mom?
Baga was his mom.
Yeah, I like Baga. And did we learn anything else? Like, why did he? I forget why he went bad. We did learn why he went bad.
It's not. Going bad. I feel like it's more complicated than that.
Well,
like,
not going back. He got like power.
He was power hungry. Yeah, he was like power drunk. Yeah. He was so powerful that like he was untouchable, and it like corrupted him a little bit, but not in an overtly evil way. Like he wasn't just like, I want to kill everyone. Like he was still strategic about his evil.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd like to hear more from him. Like, I'm not mad about him coming back. I just like to understand how everything happened.
I'm mad about him coming back. Because it undoes, like,
Alina's not dead. So,
but so is Alina gonna come back now?
Yeah. I mean, I think she has to. All the people are
back, then she has to come back.
She's got to.
I don't want that. Let her rest. Like, she's done enough.
Well, you know,
got her finale.
His work is never done, Kat.
But the thing is about
more comes great responsibility.
The thing is, though, the Grisha finale was one of the more satisfying YA trilogy finales. Like, I felt like the Grisha finale wrapped up really well. And now I feel like we're undoing that.
I didn't feel like that, though. I didn't feel like that. I thought you didn't like the end of it. That's why I didn't read it for so long.
I didn't like the ship that resulted. I didn't like that aspect. But I liked everything else about the series.
Okay.
I was just so frustrated that I don't want to spoil that book.
Can I just ask a question also? Oh, Lena lost all her powers? Wait, really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, she did. That's another reason why I'm like, we can't have the Darkling back.
Well, maybe the Darkling's not as strong because he came back in Yuri's body.
Maybe.
Okay, can I just ask a question? So, what is that thing called again? The area that...
The fold?
The fold. Okay, so the fold. How do they sail across the sand on boats? Like, what's going on? Are they in water or is it sand that moves? Well, how are they sailing? They're always in a skiff?
Yeah, I guess
is it pulled by dogs? Like,
No, it is. No, it's a kind of boat, but it goes over the sand. It's like built to go over sand.
How does it move?
The squallers. No, the squallers. The Grisha who control the wind. Big wind go in the sails.
Jesse, fantasies still have physics.
the Grisha who can control the wind. Move the sails.
Yeah, but I still don't really get it. Like, why would you take a boat on sand?
It's a boat designed for sand.
A sand boat?
But do you want to take a camel? A camel is going to be so slow. Why would you take a camel?
Yeah, Christy, think about, like, like a water jet ski versus a snowmobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like a snowmobile has a motor in it. Like it just feels like a lot of.
So does a jet ski.
Yeah, I know. This isn't. They're not on either of those. They're on like a.
I'm just saying that analogy of like something that can run on water, but also on something like snow or sand.
I feel like it would be really hard to push yourself through like dirt and on like a.
Dirt, it's sand.
Yeah, sand is special dirt.
It's special dirt.
Every time it's happening, I'm like picturing them on a boat on land, and I'm just like, I need to see this. Like I remember the first time it happened, I was so confused. I was like, so they're in a desert on a boat. Like I was like, if this worked, why don't we take boats into the desert? I don't see anybody using boats in the desert here.
Okay, well, you haven't played enough fantasy video games.
Okay. Anyway, so so this desert boat, right? So they're on the desert boat when this happens, and like the magic, they get sucked into the magic pocket. And then they're amazed when the sand moves them by itself. And I'm just like, hasn't the sand been moving you this entire time? Like you're just being squallered over there.
It's the wind in the sails.
Like Nikolai uses like motors and stuff to like fly, and scholars like a combination, doesn't he?
I don't know. I didn't read the book, like this book, that Grisha trilogy I read 5 years ago. I really don't know.
I think he does. I think it's a combination.
I'm sure they use motors as well. Yeah.
So, are there motors in the boats?
Do they? Are there motors in this world? Has this world been that industrialized?
Just like if they have one squalor, is she gonna stand there the whole time? Like that seems just like a lot.
That is a lot. That's what they did, though.
Well, I don't know. It seems dangerous. It's like a bad.
It's dangerous.
Anyway, so what were we talking about?
Anything we haven't touched on yet?
Do you think Yuri is Yuri anymore? Like, is he a host? Is he like in there, or do you think he's gone?
I think he's gone.
I don't know.
Stanislaw said, I feel like the Darkling cult was a low-key shade at all the people on Twitter who stan the Darkling. Oh my god.
That actually.
Really. Okay, so if you're just joining us here, we're taking questions on Twitter using the hashtag Scarsplosion and in the chat using the hashtag Scarsplosion. Yeah, how did you guys feel about the Nikolai Zoya ship?
I'm into it.
I'm into it as well, but I'm afraid that this princess stuff is gonna mess it up a little bit.
You know what story I love? The one about the tigers and Zoya.
Yeah, that was good. I liked all of Zoya's backstory that we learned in it. I loved Zoya. I loved all of her stuff. Like that's why I'm okay with the Nikolai Zoya ship, because it seems like they really care. Like I like how it was handled. Like they really care for each other, and it's very much like a friendship and mutual respect, and like it's slowly building toward something.
Right.
Which I really like. I mean, I think the princess thing is gonna like throw a bit of a wrench in it, but I feel like we need that for them to like get to the point where they know for sure that they want to be together. Like Zoya and Nikolai are like, yeah, we can make this work. Because I do like, otherwise it would be too easy. Because like then the only thing standing in the way is like the Ravka people wouldn't want a Grisha queen.
Yeah.
But I feel like we can change their minds on that because it's Zoya.
Hope so.
You know what I really want to read?
What?
Crooked Kingdom 3.
Yeah, that'd be good.
3. And I thought that maybe that's what I think. Maybe like this would not, I don't think this is actually what she's gonna do, but like for a second I pictured her like just Nina's storyline just leaving this series and going into Crooked Kingdom 3 with her new plan and taking Hannah into that crew instead of taking Hannah into this. I'd be here for that. Like the next book, it just has no Nina in it. It's just
See her till the third Grisha, or the
it's like kind of like what Cassie does sometimes. Like there's just like she's preparing for the next series, like in City of Heavenly Fire. Like we don't really need to see all the stuff with the youths, but then we need to versus like City of Claire, Darkness, Air. I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Anyway,
setting up the next series in the existing one.
Yeah, but like it's such a big part. Like the chapters are like 100 pages. Anyway,
that would be interesting. That would kind of, I would be more forgiving of that even than if this was just the duology. Because I don't know, it feels like there's too much going on for 2 books and done.
Yeah. How long was, this is like a big side point, but how long was this book after The Crooked Kingdom?
The Crooked Kingdom.
Crooked Kingdom.
I think Crooked Kingdom came out 2017.
Well, I mean, like, how much, like...
How long in the book?
It only been like a couple months, I think she said. She's been carrying around Matthias.
Yeah.
So I think it's like 4 months.
A long time to carry around a dead body.
I know, that's why they were like, seriously? You gotta do something about this.
Like, bury the guy. let him rest in peace.
I was like, seriously, let him rest. It was a very like Game of Thronesy moment when like his dog just showed up to see her. And then it was just like they didn't really like get together and be friends. It was just like hi, bye.
That felt very Game of Thrones. I was like, this is the scene where Arya Arya's in her wolf again. Yeah, I was like, this is that scene.
And then the wolf was just like, okay, bye. Yeah, you're back. Never mind. Yeah, like Travers or something.
Trestle.
I only have eyeshadow on one eye.
I'm happy.
What?
But I'm happy for you.
I just saw that it's very noticeable in the video.
Is it supposed to be King of Scars themed?
No.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought you like put on some eyeshadow for it because I was like, oh, it's yellow. Okay.
I was gonna do a bookstagram and then I didn't get to, and I was going for that.
Oh.
Okay. What else do we have here?
Oh, here's a question, or kind of. Any thoughts on the Netflix TV show of the books?
I'm so excited about it.
I'm very excited. Lee is very involved, I feel like, and I feel like it's going to be great. I'm so excited for the Cat Sprecher announcement. Like, who is it?
Yeah, I'm also very excited. I think the show is going to be awesome. And honestly, one of the thoughts I had when first reading this book, and like the beginning felt like a lot of setup, and we had like the 2 separate storylines. I felt like this felt like a new season of the show. It felt like this is at the beginning of a show. Like this could be adapted so wonderfully. So it felt like we had more characters that we were focusing on, which is more typical of a TV show than a book might have. Like, you know, your one protagonist, but I don't know. I think this could be adapted really well.
Okay.
It could be combined. Like that's the thing. It's like a separate blip right now, but like if it was layered in.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. I just like, I like when everything crosses over and everything was just like it's separate things right now. I really want to just go back to Karch. I love Kaz Brecker and all those people and Inej. And when she was like, I miss Inej, I was like, me too.
Yeah.
They just like, I want all of them to be here. It's not the same.
I think it's what I miss the most. It's just the crew. It's just like that's part of this like that missing Grisha feeling is like missing the crew. But,
well, like that's not Grisha.
well, I know, but like I don't
Grisha
know.
World.
Yeah, the Grisha world is what I know.
First, but like I don't think of that as the Grisha trilogy because it's not the Grisha trilogy. So this is 6 of Crows. Oh, who's the bad guy in Six of Crows again? Petra
Becca Rollins.
Becca Rollins. Oh, I was really close.
Petra.
Yeah. I love all that drama. It's so good. And they have the Kirch accent, and I really like it. I don't really remember it. I think this is more Roska. How do they speak in Kirch?
I don't know. I read the book with my own eyes and brain, so I didn't do accents.
Aren't you special?
No, I'm saying you're special. You got the accents. I just had boring.
What they do is just give them different accents so that you can identify the different characters. Like Pekka Rollins had like an Irish accent, and it was just like I don't think in any world that this is Ireland. I feel like Kirch is like a mixture of like Venice and Budapest, like combined. But anyway, yeah. Do we have any more questions before we wrap up and recap our next book? Any more discussion points, guys? What was your favorite part?
Think about that. Maybe Nina finally buried Matthias.
What a boring part.
It was a sad part. It was like an emotional part. She's like finally saying goodbye to him.
It's
like,
so weird because like I loved Matthias when they were together, but in this book, I was just like talking about it.
I liked the little mini heist of getting the pregnant women out, like that whole escape sequence where they were like getting them out, and then like the other villagers were like, "There's women and children in there in those vans. Like, what's going on?" To like stop the soldiers, and the dam broke, and the Grisha saved them all. I liked that whole finale.
I really liked when she went by herself there, and she saw it, and then she had
too anxious. I was so scared that whole time.
Then she had to roll down the hill in the mud. Yeah. And then she had to like hide her clothes, and like the well mother came. I like that.
That's also another thing. There's no way that Hannah's excuse of like, oh, I went riding earlier and I asked her to hide my muddy clothes, when the well mother is looking for someone who has muddy clothes. Right. Like, I just feel like it was a good attempt at a save, but like the well mother should not have bought that. Like, she was barging into their room in the middle of the night, like, was spying on us? And she finds proof that like they were maybe just spying on her, but she's like, oh yeah, no, I'll believe you.
I thought that like it was just like such a relief when she got into bed, and it was like, okay, she's gonna get away with this. And then she had like the muddy footprint. It's like shit. But Hannah does like break out and do stuff all the time, so maybe she was like inclined to believe her because that's very in character for her.
Yeah, I mean, I could see her being inclined to believe her at any other point in time. But when you're breaking into your maybe in the middle of the night to see if they maybe were just spying on you.
Well, like, maybe they're also like, this woman can't handle it. Like, because they're like, they really don't think women can do much. So maybe they're just like,
They don't think women can do much, but like they knew that the person who snuck in was dressed as one of the initiates.
Yeah, but whatever.
I had trouble buying into that excuse.
I was like, maybe the well mother's dumb because she I don't know, I hate her. How would you rate all of Lee's books so far? Least favorite to favorite?
Least favorite, Ruin and Rising.
Really?
Then this one.
Is that the second one?
Is that Ruin and Rising? Sorry, is that the last one?
I can't remember the names because they're like so didn't have to do with the books to me.
Shadow and Bone. Ruin and Rising is the last one in that trilogy, right?
What's the other one?
Siege and Storm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ruin and Rising, then this book, then Shadow and Bone, then Siege and Storm, then Crooked Kingdom, then Six of Crows. Six of Crows is my favorite.
Yeah, so my favorite Six of Crows, and then Crooked Kingdom, and then Shadow and Bone, and then I don't know the other. The two Grisha books kind of blend together for me because I read them so quick. Probably this one goes before one of the Grisha books, but I don't remember which one I liked better.
Yeah, this one might go before Ruin and Rising. I know I like Siege and Storm better because that was the Grisha book that we got the most Nikolai.
Which one was the one where like she had to get the amplifiers? Was that every book? Did she have?
I feel like the third one had the most emphasis on getting the amplifiers.
I feel like that I didn't like that one as much. Would you like fight a dragon or something?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This one and the third Grisha book are I like the third Grisha book, like taking it as at face value. It wasn't what I personally wanted, but I did think it was like well done for like what Lee was trying to do.
Right.
Yeah. Now that I remember, the third Grisha book is when she starts out like in the Saint and she's like captured by that apricot. What's his name? The apricot. The
Apparat.
The apparat. The apparat has her like trapped underground and like she has white hair and she's like not Alina anymore. That's when I started to like not want to read that much because I was like, no, this sucks. I want her out of here. So I think that's my last one. And then this is on top, and then Siege and Storm, and then Shadow and Bone, and then Cookie Kingdom, and then Shadow. What? Gross.
I think Siege and Storm is my favorite Grisha book. But otherwise, yeah, the Six of Crows duology is definitely my favorite too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know which one would be first. Maybe I like Six of Crows better than Crooked Kingdom, but they're both very good and it's very close.
Okay, what kind of Grisha would you want to be?
Well, apparently it doesn't matter anymore because all Grisha can control all elements and do all.
Well, you have a natural.
Let's try hard enough.
I mean, I feel like the Zoya kind is the coolest. Well, Heartrenders are scary.
Yeah, they're really scary.
They're horrifying. I think I'd faint just doing anything. Like I was like, I can't read this scene when she was like trying to teach her.
That's funny. I feel like I'd want to be a Heartrender.
Yeah, I think I would want to be a Heartrender.
I don't, so I'll pick Squalor. I'll be like what Zoya does. She's pretty cool. And then I can
be a fabricator. The fabricators make things.
Yeah, but like I don't want to make chairs.
You can make whatever you want. You can make boats that work on sand.
I feel like
whatever you can imagine.
I just don't want to make things with my hands. Like they use their mind to make things. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same way. It's how they do like disguises on people. They like can change their appearance and stuff.
I thought that was like what Genoa does. What's her name?
Genya. She's a fabricator.
Yeah, she's a fabricator of faces.
Yeah.
I don't know how their powers work. Because, like, I know that, like, what's her name can do this too. Natalie, Nina. Nina can do it.
Because the Grisha powers don't matter. Nothing matters.
Nothing matters anymore.
That was one thing that, see, I loved the orders and, like, the differences between them. So, like, I don't know, it feels a little like we're backtracking to be like, oh, but actually, if you work hard enough, like, some people can control all of them somehow. Like, I don't
believe that. I don't get it. Like,
that's why Zoya could do fire at the end when people too, and like
weird. It was Zoya special, or it's like everyone can do everything if they open the door.
I think it's everyone can do everything if they open the door.
And like, is the door a dragon that you become one with? Like, do you have to have an amplifier that you give something to, and they give something back to be able to open the door? Is that what that is?
I don't know.
Because she opened the door already. Because like she didn't kill that thing herself. It's an accident.
she still killed it herself, but it didn't. She didn't go out of it uninjured. Like what there was like a bit of an exchange because she got hurt as well.
To it and slit his throat. So they meant like she didn't do that. She was trying to protect the cubbies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I feel confused about aspects of the world that I thought I knew.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a little like, the ground taken out from under me. Because I'm like, yes, I have an understanding of, I might not know all of like the politics and all the nuances of amplifiers and stuff. Like we can always go deeper into that world building. But I was like, I understand the orders. And like, some Grisha can control wind, some can control fire. But now I feel like we're breaking those boundaries down and I'm lost.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I feel like I really understood everything after, like, Crooked Kingdom. Because I was like, oh, I finally think I have a grasp on everything. I'm just excited to learn more about Rothko by reading the Grisha trilogy. And now, this has, like, all the rules that we thought were rules are not rules anymore. It's just like... what?
Yeah, like, I would rather go deeper and, like, not change things that felt established. Unless it was like a main part of the story. I don't know.
The Fold, doesn't it remind you of Chernobyl?
No, it reminds me of World of Warcraft.
No, I meant Chernobyl.
Area in World of Warcraft that is just like The Fold. I think it's called The Scar. I haven't played it.
No, I just mean, like, doesn't the Scar also remind you of Chernobyl?
I don't know. I haven't watched that show yet.
You'll have to watch the show to know Chernobyl.
I don't know history either, so.
You gotta watch the show then.
I guess I do.
Oh my god. Anyway, it reminds me of Chernobyl, and I wonder if that was like the inspiration for the Fold. Anyway, weird question, but if you could be remembered as a saint in the Grisha world, what would your gruesome death be like? That is a weird question.
That's a very weird question.
It's one we want to end.
Oh, wait, I do have a question going off of this. Okay, so if saints have to be dead to become saints, they have to be martyrs. Like, being a martyr is like the key point of being a saint. That's why Yuri is convinced to help them, because it's like, oh, we have to get rid of all traces of the Darkling so he can be a saint. Like, he can't be a saint until he's dead for sure. None of the other saints are actually freaking dead. Like, Alina is definitely not dead. But like all those other saints, even though they're like gone from the world, like they're not dead either. So why do you count them as saints?
Well, what do you mean? Everyone thinks they're dead, though.
But once Yuri finds out they're still alive, he still treats them as very revered. And it's like, they're not saints because they haven't been martyred.
Yeah, but he probably thinks like it's so ingrained in him that they are saints that he hasn't like been like, oh, should I not should I not treat them like saints because he's grown up with them?
Yeah.
It's just like, if you learned God was like a regular person when you were like 25, would you like stop thinking of him as God? Like, I don't know what to compare this to. Like, if you
just don't understand, like, it is the martyrdom, like, is that actually necessary to become a saint, or was Nikolai just kind of like bullshitting to like convince Yuri to help him? Like, I guess I'm wondering if if this is a law of the world where like you have to be martyred to become a saint.
Well, I think it's more of like, because in Catholicism and stuff like that, they only consider people saints really until they're like dead, and I think it's kind of like that. Like, it's kind of like you idealize someone in death instead of, because in life they have so many flaws or whatever,
Yeah.
And they just feel like you. And I think martyrdom just makes them, like, people know about it because everyone's talking about it. So then that's how they become a saint. Like, it just spreads the word. When you're just, like, a regular person, not everyone's, like, talking about you. There's this much drama.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But that's how I think of it, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I just wonder, like, okay, in the second book, if the Darkling is back, and if we have to bring Alina back, and people find out she's not actually dead.
Well, what happened to Alina's powers? Like, can someone refresh us? Like, how did they go away? Did you just, like, shoot them out of her?
I think they, like, it was like a big explosion of power, and then like she didn't have them anymore because the Darkling was gone and she didn't need them anymore.
But like, where did Harem come from? Did Harem just start growing? Like, what is that?
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, how is the drug tied to the Darkling and the Darkling's power when like they said that Jirda, the thing that like makes the drug, only comes from that other country,
Nova Sam.
Yeah. So like,
Nova.
we've never even been there. Like, what's going on in that country?
Yeah, I know. Wait, is Nova Zem where Inej is from? Who's from Nova Zem?
Somebody's from there.
Yeah, someone is, I feel like. I don't remember who. I feel like it has to be Inej because she's not from Ferda or Ravkar.
Is Novi Zem? Is that where the Zemeni are from?
Oh yeah, the Zemeni.
Okay, so that's where from like Jasper and Leonie and
The Zemeni, yeah. Ketterdam. Yeah, Ketterdam, they speak like Ukraine, I feel like. Right? Well, guys, thank you for joining us for our King of Scars discussion. Very all over the place.
Very much so.
There's a lot of like muddled up now, or like what is happening in this world. But we're very excited for the TV show and very excited for our lineup coming up. We're going to be talking about Looking for Alaska next month by John Green. So if you haven't read it yet, this is the time to pick it up. There's a Hulu series coming out. By the by, did you guys catch that trailer for it?
Yeah.
Okay. Why does it look like a YouTube video?
I hope the
from
filter.
like 2008.
Yeah.
Why is there a filter on it that's bad
the
filter?
I don't know, but I hope that that's just
Like,
the trailer.
it looked like a book trailer.
It did.
You know what book trailer was? Did you guys watch the Frankly in Love book trailer?
No.
It's really good.
You know what also was really good? The trailer for River Magnus Chase had a really good book trailer where like it was just
that was a good
around the table.
Really great book trailers are rare, but that Magnus Chase one was good. I think the Frankly in Love one is really good.
Yeah.
It's really simple and straightforward, but like
I was baffled. Why did they cut it like that? Why didn't they do like actual scenes and like actual stuff?
For looking at for a lot, I don't know. I'm trying to reserve judgment until I get to see the actual show.
Yeah,
I don't want to go too hard against this trailer. That
I still
may not be reflective of like
why would Hulu release this trailer? Like I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going.
Anyway, so Looking for Alaska is a great book. And that's what we're reading in August. September, we're reading Frankly in Love by
David Yoon.
I was going to say Nicola Yoon by David Yoon, Nicola Yoon's husband. And in September, we're reading The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. And we'll be announcing November and December as soon as we have locked in our choices there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. I'm Christine.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Kat.
I'll see you next time.